Welcome, everybody. This is the news segment, Better on Draft, October 22nd, 2021, the day before the Fall Beer Festival here in Detroit, Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. If you're not listening to us live and you're listening to us via podcast, obviously you can join us live. We record it right after the interview segment, usually around 7:50, 7:55 p.m. Eastern. We hope you enjoy. Of course, follow us on all of our social medias. That's Better on Draft on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Let's head over and see what everybody is drinking real quick, starting with Danny. Danny, what do you got to drink over there?
I have some elephant juice from Eastern Market.
All right, and Nick.
I am drinking the Flying Start IPA from Boulevard Brewing.
That's right, our guest Adam. We appreciate him joining us. Don't forget to go check out that video, episode 270, Better on Draft. Wendy, what do you got?
I decided to not stick with just the Flying Start, even though it is delicious. And I just opened a Space Camper Nova Flare. So I'm excited to try that.
All right, Dan?
I have got a Morning Sex from BRI.
Well, for myself, I've got from Two Roots the New West IPA, and Dan's favorite style. Not only is it non-alcoholic, but Dan, it's a non-alcoholic pumpkin ale.
Oh, I'm sure you're enjoying that. Is it at least cannabis infused or something?
This is from Well-Being. There is no, I believe, THC, cannabis, anything like that in here. It is just a simple non-alcoholic beer.
That's for people who really hate themselves, Ken. I mean, non-alcoholic pumpkin beer? What are you doing right now?
Well, I need to start looking for a litany of different non-alcoholic choices because I have made a commitment. I love the Detroit Lions, and I mean, not as much as Nick for the amount of money he spends on them, but I love the Detroit Lions.
So when the Lions curb stop Matt Stafford on Sunday, then what's the story?
So if people haven't listened to the last episode, they don't know, or they don't follow us on TikTok, which is at Better on Draft. Make sure you follow us for our TikToks. Dan's
Spilling beer is so funny.
Dan's gonna be doing TikTok dances here soon.
I will. You know what? We'll figure that out.
Swipe challenge, Daniel.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I'll tell you after the show.
All right.
So I have made it. So I'm celebrating Sober October, but I will be not drinking alcohol until the Lions win a game. Now, Dan thinks they're going to win away on Sunday against the 5-1.
They're 5-1. Yeah, Arizona's their only loss.
The 5-1 Matt Staffords. Dan, you think that's
so
happening?
What if it happens? What's your story then? What are we changing it to?
I mean, we're still
because October won't be over.
I mean, we'll still celebrate Sober October. I was just kind of gambling that we'd lose to Matt Stafford on Sunday and just add another week to it. No, so we're still going to be celebrating Sober October. Enjoying delicious amount of beer. I went to the produce station over in Ann Arbor, and there's a lot of non-alcoholic choices over there, so big shout out to them. You can buy singles over there, which is nice, so I didn't have to buy a bunch of six-packs. That Cerveza Athletica I had during the new episode 270 was so good, by the way. I love
Athletic beer. Yeah.
I want to drink that more, but did you guys know that Athletic makes a non-alcoholic alt beer?
Do they really?
They do. And
do you have it yet?
I do not yet. I have literally shot up messages to Ashley and Jay. It's a small badge that they're doing. I messaged them directly even. I was just like, hey, guys.
I mean, Athletic ships directly. Couldn't you get it from them?
No, because Michigan likes to call non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, that sucks.
And you can't ship beer into Michigan. So, yeah. Yeah, you have to go through a third party, like an actual purchaser, like a store, like a Zaytuna Liquor or
that sucks.
Metropolitan Variety.
Maybe when I am in Denver next weekend, I will look and see if I can find some.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Or you're gonna ship it to yourself in Denver and then bring it back. You're going to what was the Weldworks festival, weren't you?
Yep. I'm super excited. We're still going to go and visit the brewery, and they have beer release that is going on tomorrow morning. I'm going to pick up some beer so that I can bring it back with me in my suitcase. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait. I'm going to put some stuff on TikTok about it too. So
man, if you
keep
get
an
a
eye out for that.
chance, if you get a chance, Black Shirt Brewing, one of the best breweries out there.
Which one?
Definitely Black Shirt.
Okay, that's actually on our list.
Nice.
Is it, how, have you all transported beer on a plane, like in a suitcase before? I've
All
never
the
done
time.
this.
Every beer
Did it
trip.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Every trip I go on. I bring an extra suitcase.
That's
I pack
good
a
to
go ahead.
No,
I
I'm
pack
going
a
to-
suitcase inside my suitcase so that I have a second suitcase to bring beer home if I need it.
You're so smart. Where does your stuff go? don't
I beer
know.
trip.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times like I would be flying back from Seattle or LA or somewhere on a Friday morning, literally drive from the airport to the studio with the beer.
Oh, yeah.
And just be like, all right, this is what we're drinking, or like a bottle of booze, like an aquavit. There was that one week that I brought the dill aquavit from Ballard Distilling in they're now closed in Seattle, and I thought it was really good. But yeah, I'm a big homer for aquavit, the alcohol. So if I go anywhere and I find a new aquavit, I'm definitely bringing it home. There's a couple bottles that I got from my trip to Maine and the New England area that I was excited to bring home, but I haven't had a chance to really dig into it yet. I'm still going through my beer from that trip, and I still
How many bottles of Mean Old Tom do you have?
Oh, zero. Absolutely zero. But Marino sells them in Toledo, so I just got to go drive 45 minutes, which isn't too bad.
Nice.
I've driven further for less.
Yeah.
So speaking of aquavit, we had Robin on from Norden Aquavit, and just to let you guys know that this is the month that they put out the pink aquavit, and I have a bottle waiting for me. I'm super excited to try it. Next time I'm on, we'll talk about that.
Yep. So we kind of talked about a few earlier episodes. So the episode with WeldWorks was episode 254. So go check that out to talk about what WeldWorks was doing. I know they were planning for a live festival, but obviously things change with the world and how things go within this industry itself. So I know they're not doing anything. I'm sure there's probably a lot of different breweries in that area that are doing different things, but then episode 247, which is our episode almost a year ago with Robin Cleveland over at Norden Aquavit, talking about brewing aquavit in Michigan, and I think a lot of us had the opportunity to drink that strawberry aquavit that he created, which was amazing for sure. But with segment 2, as always,
here is Robert with the beer news.
Speaking of part-timer, we haven't seen Robert in a long time.
Wasn't Danny supposed to chug a beer since Rob isn't here? I
Oh,
thought that was the
yeah.
new rule.
Sound like me, so
That's
no.
all right. We'll make sure she chugs a beer next week when Rob's off, Wendy's off. So it's just going to be the four of us chatting beer for sure. But with segment 2 is always the beer news. I had it up and I lost it because I suck. There we go. There was a lot of handful of interesting different articles with Anheuser-Busch, so I pulled this one out real quick because I think this is one that is going to spark a lot of interest, and that is Anheuser-Busch is looking to unload their German brands in Germany. So obviously that includes Spaten, this is where I'd probably need Matt Bush, Hasseröder, and Franziskaner Weissbier. So they've got 2,000 people who work in Germany itself. Brands are valued at $1.2 billion with the B billion dollars, which is larger than any other German brand out there except Radeberger, which is owned and partnered by a massive German food production company, Dr. Oetker, Oetker. For all the words that I just mispronounced, I apologize. When these businesses are not consolidating, but kind of getting rid of a lot of these brands, do we think that it's just going to be trading breweries to other large conglomerates and nothing's really going to change? Or do you think, because they want to sell it, they don't want to just give it away, they don't want, like, so somebody needs to fork up $1.2 billion to buy it. Who's going to buy it, and what's going to happen with those brands? Starting with Dan.
I don't know. Are those Kings and Convicts guys going to buy this set of German breweries now?
I mean, well, Kings and Convicts, Ballast Point was only like so little after. I have no idea what Kings and Convicts purchased for Ballast Point, but it wasn't the $1 billion that Constellation put up for that brand. Holy shit. That easily, that's probably the biggest write-off that a beer business will ever have is...
Why have we not gotten those guys on the show yet? That's a good question.
Kings and Convicts, we've had a few messages out to both Kings and Convicts and Ballast Point, so we could push it a little harder. We need to talk to some of our friends like Adam from Boulevard and just be like, hey, we want to talk to Firestone Walker. I'm sure you know someone there.
For sure.
Or Omegang. Oh my God.
Omegang would be great too.
I love a lot of the stuff that's come from Omegang, and then they have the Game of Thrones series, I think, is Omegang. Which is a huge cross-promotional, you want to like Tech 9 is big, but that's not Game of Thrones big.
Well, Game of Thrones was big until they blew it on the last episode. Just saying.
I don't know if that tanked the whole franchise.
It certainly tanked the show, at least. I mean, talk about a show that was at the highest point and went honestly lowest point overnight because of one episode.
I never could get into Game of Thrones, so it didn't really bother me. I never watched it.
Me neither.
I watched like a season and a half, and I do my best when it's one of those like shows you have to watch. Like people say, like The Office, or what was one that I liked? Oh my gosh, why can't it? The Breaking Bad. Like I didn't get into that until like season 4.
You got into it though. Yeah, the earlier seasons suck on shows like Breaking Bad, but
see, I love. There's a lot of good first couples, like Lost. You want to talk about a show that went downhill pretty fast, or Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tried to like redo Heroes, and it kind of just like nobody cared anymore. They're like, it came and it went.
I had to stop watching Game of Thrones when Drago died.
Spoilers.
So fair. I'm pretty sure everybody knows.
I don't even know what a Drago is, so
that's the guy from Rocky IV.
Momoa.
Ivan Drago.
Oh, Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Cal Drago.
What's the reboot of Rocky? I can't even think of the name of it. Creed 2? Creed 2? Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Because he fights Drago's son. So.
Dan, all you need to know, Aquaman. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Hang on. I gotta wipe the drool off my chin.
Jason
Just thinking
Momoa.
about it.
That's who she's talking about.
I have no idea who that is. So
you know who Jason Momoa is.
I really don't.
If you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I get it now."
Yeah, Jason Momoa was definitely in a lot of like. I'd be willing to bet if you saw Jason Momoa, like. You would
wait. Hold on. Is this Roman Reigns?
He does look like Roman Reigns.
Hold on.
He does look like Roman Reigns.
Wasn't there a rumor for a little while that Jason Momoa was buying into a brewery here in Detroit?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure there was because I was watching for it. So Jason Momoa, if you're listening, we're still waiting. At least I am.
You find out he's buying into Founders. The Founders Detroit.
I don't know that he do that.
Yeah.
So he made a mention of it back in 2014. Apparently, that he wanted to purchase a facility in Michigan and open up a brewery. So this was 7 years ago. But there is nothing. It looked like in a 100-year-old GM building. So this is obviously taking back like different articles from like old articles from the Freep or MLive or Reddit. But yeah, he purchased apparently a building here, but that's really all that all that we have. He was in. There was a movie that just came out, I believe, on Netflix. That just had him, and I can't even think of I think it was called Sweet Girl. That was
a very good movie.
That was on Netflix.
Well,
yeah,
it was a weird movie, but I liked it.
Yeah, very weird for sure.
It was a twist for sure.
He was spotted in Ferndale a few times too. There was a whole thread devoted to Jason Momoa sightings.
Yes, I remember. People kept sending me messages.
Bullshit. It's always work.
Well, it's kind of like when everyone sees what's Harry Potter's real name in Michigan? Daniel Radcliffe. Because he's in Michigan all the time because his girlfriend's from Flint. So people will spot him all the time out here in Michigan, and they're just like, oh, okay, it's just Harry Potter hanging out.
Harry Potter chills in Flint.
Well, dude, he's a big Wings fan, dude.
Is he?
Well, yeah. I think he's he's not from the U.S. I don't think so. He's
from the UK.
He definitely doesn't fit the profile of people you'd see hanging out in Flint. I can tell you that.
Well, no, he's not hanging out. Like his girlfriend was born and raised in Flint. So okay. I think she probably lives down here right now, is my guess. But if you've ever seen the movie Guns Akimbo, which is a really interesting movie to say the least, but he actually drinks Motor City Brewing Works in that movie. So, yeah, you can go.
Is that what gets his hands or whatever?
Well, that's when the gun. Yeah, that's the movie.
Oh, wasn't he drinking the Ghetto Blaster?
He was drinking Ghetto Blaster,
he was,
and Nut Bandit. I stopped the movie a few times to study the scenes to see what he was drinking for sure. I have no idea what we were talking about.
I have no clue either.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Anheuser-Busch selling their German beer company, and what's going to happen there. I think that's come and gone. Great news article. Thank you so much.
Yeah, something $1 billion. Whatever.
Yeah, it was the $1 billion, and then Dan couldn't help but bring up
Kings and Convicts.
If it's worth that much money, why are they selling it? Is my question.
Well, I mean, it could be worth that much money and still be a loser for them. They could still be losing money on it, or that's 2,000 employees that they got to worry about in Germany. If they just want to get rid of the entire country, it's worth of employees and just load it off onto somebody else. You're going to need some either major money player or that Rodenberger group is going to have to buy it. But, I don't know. There's just so many small breweries in Germany that there's not many people probably want it anymore. They probably want them to go off on their own, but you would need a single person to buy it just to be able to be like, all right, it's, go back to business as usual. To unload something like that. It's not like Constellation just unloading Ballast Point and that's it. Like they're looking to unload a $1 billion organization in a country. Dan, you can go buy it. You got $1 billion lying around?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, he's got it right behind him in the
It's in the bunk bed.
Is that a bunk bed?
Yeah, it's a bunk bed because the girls come out here quite a bit. I mean, these records will probably go for $1 billion eventually. I mean, this guy is going to prison soon, so I mean, be worth something eventually.
Continuing with the news, Sierra Nevada, as we kind of discussed when we had Sierra Nevada on the show, is looking to extend its options for distribution as it will release a hard tea line called Tea West. Their little thing is adding a wheat ale, and they want to lead the hard kombucha line with Strange Beast. Currently, its pale ale is 6 out of every 10 Sierra Nevada beers sold. That's just their regular pale ale, but we'll start rebranding a bit more on their Torpedo IPA on top of the rest of the new products. So they're one of the few breweries out there that their number one seller is, and that's 60%, which is a huge percentage, is not a IPA. It's just your standard pale ale. So depending on when I wrote this, I put a few weeks ago, we mentioned Sam from Dogfish Head to refocus. Sierra Nevada is focusing on new products. Who is right and who is wrong? And do we still think that we're going to see these two behemoths near the top in a decade? So Sam is saying we need to refocus on original brands. Sierra Nevada's like, fuck that, everything new, nice and great. So, are they both right? Are they both wrong? Starting with Danny.
They're both right. They can do whatever they want. I think there's nothing wrong with Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It's one of the best beers ever made, ever. It's like the name Michael. Every year, there's like, a million babies born named Michael. Well, okay, it's just never going to go away. So I don't know. I don't really understand hard tea, but
maybe you should ask Matt Bush. He knows.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean,
there's
I
something
think.
for everybody.
Yeah, I think twisted tea, like hard tea, everybody wants their sweet tea, their flavored tea, and that's tea is something that like Long Island iced tea, right there, a giant boozy tea-like drink that people want to drink. So I think hard tea is going to be fine. I decided to go see what the top names for boys in 2021 is. And Michael is all the way down at 30 now, Danny, by the way.
Who's one? Who's number one?
Number one is Liam.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
So Brody's not in there, is what you're saying?
Brody is not number one.
Good. I'm okay with that.
I don't even see... Brody is not on the list. Matthew is 50. Let's see if... Daniel, you're 24.
Yeah, that name's never going away.
Wendy,
what about Adam?
Wendy's not on the list. I'm not on the list.
What about Nicholas?
No, Nicholas is not on the list.
All right. I like that. I like the sound of that.
Adam's not on the list. I'm just going on babycenter.com, the everyone's standard top baby names. But the names for men and women in the top 10 include Asher and Mateo.
Like Asher Roth?
Yeah.
Is this for the U.S. or worldwide?
This is most popular baby names of 2021. That's just all it says.
Oh.
Doesn't specify a country. But there are no real non-American names.
I don't know of any babies that are named Asher or Mateo.
I'm sure there's a few Mateos down here, but it definitely sounds a little more international than anything.
Yeah.
Asher would be more of a British name.
Yeah.
Maybe Australian.
Well, I mean, somebody probably saw an Asher on the Great British Baking Channel show, whatever it's called, Bake Off. And,
that one Netflix show?
Yeah, and, maybe they got that name from there. I mean, maybe we might get a bunch of Sungyeons here in America after Squid Game.
That's entirely
you
possible.
honestly did not just do a Squid Game reference, did you?
He absolutely did.
Well, I mean, it's literally
it's the top show on Netflix right now. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
You can't watch stuff like that with Grandma.
Did you end up watching it with Graham?
No, I don't think Graham.
I can't watch it with Graham. She'd be like, "This is crappy TV. Why are we watching it?" Literally, she would say that.
I'm surprised. So The Closer isn't number one on Netflix right now over Squid Games.
No, Squid Game is like Squid Game broke a bunch of records, like way more than Dave Chappelle's stand up.
Oh God!
Oh, that Closer.
Yeah. That's what Dan was talking about.
A lot of butthurt going on over that. But
not the J.K. Simmons TV show.
Wait, is there a show called The Closer too?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It had Kira Sedgwick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Who?
Yeah.
Kira Sedgwick.
Yeah.
She's married to Kevin. Amazing.
Oh, but I say if it ain't symphonic rock or Iron Maiden or Iced Earth, then Danny won't know.
Dan, do you?
I won't know. I mean, I'm wearing an Iced Earth shirt, so.
Dan
definitely won't know.
Did you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all, Dan?
I did not.
Okay. She had a recurring role in that would have you would have figured out who it was if I would have named her from that TV show. But yeah. She's Officer Wunsch for those of you who are playing the game at home for sure. Has everybody watched Squid Game other than Wendy?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Danny has not. So me, Dan,
I watched
and Nick
the Marbles episode. That was it.
How can you watch that
why-
episode
does
and
not
Watch the Marvel episode. You don't watch the first game.
I'm just gonna watch this one. I have no idea what's happening right now.
My husband was watching it, and I was on the couch.
Okay, so you were. I
It was
get that.
it was by
more.
accident, is what she's saying.
You didn't seek out the most heartbreaking episode of that entire show to
Wasn't
watch.
that hard?
Which one was
That's
that
because
one?
you
Big
didn't
Ken?
care for the characters. You didn't watch the first episodes.
Oh, the
No,
first
really.
episode. Yeah.
Oh my
It's-
gosh,
yeah.
that destroyed me, that entire show. I
The-
actually
the-
watched this is going to be more for probably the younger crowd here. But Are You Afraid of the Dark came out with the 6-episode series.
Oh, the reboot.
Yeah, the second part of the reboot, like the second season, and they did like a 6-episode that my girlfriend and I watched. That was great. We loved it.
You can find like all the old episodes of that show on like Daily Motion and YouTube and all that. Like the original Are You Afraid of the
Such a
Dark?
great show. The
Oh my
original.
God.
Yeah.
Like the stories back, like if you like looking at it now, when I was like early teens, like preteen, and now looking at it now that I'm 36, I'm like, man, there was some pretty dark shit back in
Oh, yeah.
that time.
Like, did you
I
guys
have
watch?
no idea what you're even talking about.
Did you guys watch
Oh.
Tales from the Crypt back in the day?
Oh yeah,
Nah, I didn't get into that at all.
No.
No, but Tales from the Crypt always used to be the show that I would always catch at the end because I watched something after it all the time and I don't remember what.
So Wendy, Are You Afraid of the Dark is basically teenage Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little watered down, more geared towards kids. It's still like there are some of those episodes that scared the living shit out of me when I was.
But it's
It was on
Canadian.
it. It was on at like 9:30 when it would come on. You know, the little kids were in bed.
Yeah.
Like, it was for them 12-year-olds watching.
It was part of their Saturday night lineup, man.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh man.
Well, I guess while we're on the topic,
I want to kind of add to what Danny said. I agree. The old brands and new brands.
oh yeah, we
I know
were talking
kinda-
about Sierra
We're talking about
Nevada.
that. So Sierra, I wanted to add to that. I think we have just attention spans like non-existent attention spans now. I think there's a lot of people that just don't have a lot of attention anymore, and you have to keep things fresh, keep things new. And I really like what Sierra Nevada is doing. Like like when we had them on, and I had their sour, totally different from their pale ale. What I'm used to seeing, totally unexpected. Didn't think it was gonna be all that great. Turned out to be a very, very solid sour beer, and keeping things fresh, staying with trends, trying something new, going outside of your normal lane. I think that's what it's going to end up attracting people, especially if you're a name brand like Sierra Nevada. So, but on the flip side, Dogfish Head, yeah, maybe you need to focus. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be focused on the true to style, stick with the brand, that sort of thing. So maybe you need to freshen that up a little bit. So in really, they're both right. It's going to end up being which one ends up paying more. What's going to bring more money in. So.
Well,
I'm glad you bring this up. No, because you make a good point, but I think you're a little off. So,
well, I'm not surprised.
So,
I just drink beer on this show.
So Sam is pretty much the only Vienna lager in existence in mass production. I mean, they really have the market cornered. That's really the first craft beer a lot of people drink, versus Sierra Nevada's pale is amazing. I actually drank when I was in Hawaii just because the person who was on from Sierra Nevada made us promise to try it again, and it's still a good beer. But if you want a pale, there's a million options. You want the Boston Lager, aka a Vienna Lager, there's one option out there. So it makes sense for Sam to be like, yeah, we need to refocus on doing things like that, versus Sierra Nevada to be like, maybe we do need to expand a little bit to get more eyes on the brand.
I don't know if Sam is talking about Boston beer as much as Dogfish Head.
Well, if we're talking then Dogfish Head, I mean, they probably have the market cornered in the 60, 90, and 120-minute IPA.
Yeah, we talked about it before of how many beers, out of 10 beers, the IPA series sells, and it was ridiculously high. 5, I think it was half of every beer was a minute IPA beer.
I mean, Should they refocus on the worldwide stout then? I mean, that's a good mass-produced beer for everyone to be. It's an amazing beer, but God, that fucks your night up once you start drinking those.
One and done, baby. One and done.
So I want to put my 2 cents in here because I was extremely impressed with the interview that we had with Sierra Nevada. They really made me open my eyes and look at the company and what they're doing. I did go and try the Strange Beast. I actually went and looked for it and found 2 different versions. I think it was fantastic. If you are not a beer drinker, but you want something like the hard kombucha, it was amazing. I thought it was fantastic. I even tried to get other people to drink it. So I can see why they're trying to do new things. They're trying to stay relevant. They're trying to break barriers, which is what they're doing as a company and as a whole. Like, they're just on top of the curve when it comes to innovation, and I was very impressed with them. Dogfish Head, I don't know that much, but I bet if they came on the show and told us a little bit more, we would know. So I'm just throwing that out there.
All right. Well, before we go, I'm going to have you guys all give a suggestion, something to check out on the television, the streaming services, or if it's on live TV and you can go check it out on Hulu or something like that. But there are plenty of great things to go check out. Obviously, a lot of us saw Squid Game, but I kind of want to see what interests you. What are you excited for? What did you see recently that you liked? Starting with Nick.
Oh man, what show am I currently watching right now?
Show, movie, something on the streaming.
Well, we just wrapped up Squid Game. 2 shows come to mind streaming wise right now. 60 Days In. It's pretty interesting. It's taking normal people off the street, throw them in county jail in a couple different cities, being a cover for the jail to kind of bring out corruption.
Watch the Pinal County season when you get a chance.
That might be season 5, season 6. If I had to take a guess, we're in season 4.
Very good.
So, and then one that we're watching now that's not streaming is American Crime Story: Impeachment. I don't know why we're just drawn to it. It's the Bill Clinton thing. Sarah Paulson plays. She did Marsha Clark in the O.J. Simpson season.
In the show,
now she's
the FX show.
FX, and now she's doing Linda Tripp, and it's one of our shows that we're watching right now. And I don't really watch a whole lot of TV outside of that. So those are my 2 that my wife and I are watching right now.
What about you, Danny? Any other random single episodes of an entire series that you've watched?
I'm sure if I thought harder about it, but I am currently watching Supernatural, which means it's the only thing I can do with my free time because there's like 18 or 1100 seasons. I don't know. But I don't know. Have any of you watched Sneaky Pete on Amazon?
No.
It's got Giovanni Ribisi. It's fabulous. I think it's got 3 seasons. What else?
It's the guy from Boiler Room, isn't it?
It's what?
That's the guy from Boiler Room, right?
I don't know. He was on an episode of Friends.
You know, I hosted that Friends trivia over at One-Eyed Betty's, and like you pronounce one wrong thing, and I've never heard so many people yell at me in unison at the same time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I have no idea. It was so long. Yeah, he's the main guy in Boiler Room. I was just making sure. It's a good movie.
Yes, he is in Boiler Room.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
So Sneaky Pete on HBO. Wendy, you're muted.
I was trying to look it up because I don't know what the name of it is. There's a show on Apple TV that I have not gotten to watch yet, but it is totally at the top of my list because they're like living in a Broadway musical, and I can't remember the stinking name of it, but I'll have to post it on the Better on Draft page once I figure it out. Other than that, I don't really get to watch. My grandma and I watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy together every day before I go and do homework, but I'm taking 4 college classes right now on top of my full-time job. So that's all I do is study.
You're thinking of Schmigadoon.
Is that it? I don't know.
That's the one with Keegan Michael Key.
Maybe I'll look it up and let you know because I don't remember. It's horrible. I say it's on my list of things to watch, but the list is downstairs. I have though. Every now and then, when my grandma's not around, I will put on the show You, because it was a book that I read. I have been listening to the audiobooks, and I love the narrator. I think he's hilarious. The fact that I laugh out loud when I'm listening to a serial killer is completely ridiculous and totally just an asshole thing to do. But he's funny in the book. So I started watching the movie, which is absolutely nothing like the book once you get into it. But it's been a good show. I haven't been disappointed, really.
What about you, Dan? Oh, go on.
No, I'm sorry. You said You, right? The show that's on Netflix or whatever?
Yeah.
I could not figure out why everybody was like, oh my God, this guy's so romantic and I love him. And it's like, he's a psychopath.
He's not romantic. He's a psychopath. And if you go into it thinking he's romantic, he's a stalker he stalks people and kills them. Like, he's not a good guy. Why would you fall in love with him? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
But like everybody in my friends group fell in love with him. And I was like, I don't know. Who are you? Like, what is
what is wrong with you?
I know. I got 3 episodes in. I was like, hell to the no. Like, no. What? No.
No. But I definitely don't watch it with that. I watch it knowing that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But it's also fiction.
Yeah.
I can laugh at what's going on because it's not real. But I'm also aware of the fact that there are people out there like that. So, no, I'm not going to fall in love with him. By any means.
No.
Dan,
anyway.
Dan, what are you watching?
So just finish it. And if you haven't watched this grossly underrated show, go watch Vikings. I believe you can find it on Amazon Prime. Such an underrated show that a lot of people overlooked. Some of the best acting, especially if you like costume dramas from that period, especially. And if you watched Heels on... I believe it's on Stars. One of the guys in that is one of the main characters in Vikings for all that time. And then throwing back to what Ken said about not being into Breaking Bad, go watch Better Call Saul, especially with the last season coming up next year. Holy crap, especially as it comes up to the closer to the Breaking Bad timeline, you're going to be impressed as far as that show goes.
I thought of another one.
Oh, go on, Wendy.
Yeah.
So on Amazon is Poldark, which I thought it's just a really well-made show. I get sidetracked, so I haven't kept watching it after the first season. But man, that was a good show, and I need to put that back on my list to watch again.
So recently for me, a handful of shows that I went through last year. If you guys remember when I threw out my back, I ran through Manifest, which was pretty good, and the new season is just starting for Manifest, which I liked. I tell everyone that I meet I love easily one of the best shows and one of the best well-written shows, Ted Lasso. It's Jason,
I heard so much about
Jason Sudeikis. He is a college football coach, regular American football, and then gets sent to Britain to coach a soccer team. But it is easily such a great show. I don't think you don't need to know much about soccer. I don't know anything about soccer. Kick ball in net. That's about all you need to know about soccer. But it is such a great show. And then I also ran through Righteous Gemstones, which is great. It's got John Goodman. It's got Danny McBride. And the guy who's in Workaholics and Pitch Perfect, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine, that is his name. Go check that out for sure. Righteous Gemstones is so good. I think that's on Apple TV. or that might be on HBO actually, because I don't have Apple TV. But yeah, those are easily some of my favorite things that I have watched and ran through, and then of course I'm excited for whenever the new Letterkenny season will be coming out. So check that out. That's good. Go on.
Is anyone watching Why the Last Man on Hulu?
Not I.
It was a graphic novel. It was fantastic. It's only this one season, but it's great. I recommend it.
All right, that's gonna do. Oh, I did see that. It's the one with there's only one man left in the universe.
That's a great story. Actually, yeah. I read the whole thing. There isn't it like 8 different parts.
8 something or 10
like
books.
Yeah, that's a really good story. They made a show about that.
Finally, yes.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out.
All right, that's going to do it. We are going to do a quick round of King of the Hill right after this. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft. Have a good night.